Well, welcome back to Win Against Tide, episode 8. And we couldn't... Is it episode 8? Is it episode 8, Adrian?
I believe so. We're on a roll now, so number 8, and we got Joey back in. Joey.
You looked at me like I can't count. I freaked out for a second.
Hey, thanks for having me back, fellas.
No, it's good to have you last week, and we called you in as a late call-in, and you came back, and it's good to have you again.
Yeah, thanks, man. Lucky number 8. You know, 8's a very lucky number in Chinese history.
Is it?
Obviously. That's why this will be our last episode ever. We can't go past 8.
Prosperity, number 8.
What's happened since we last saw you, Joey? You've been real estating, fishing, whatever you do?
No, I've been, gosh, I don't know if I'm allowed to speak about it, but yeah.
No. Yeah.
No, I've been... Dave and I actually went out on the Great Port last night.
Oh, last night?
Yep.
Really, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually went out last night.
Well, look, the only reason I did it was I finished work. It was the last good day of weather for the week, and then it was supposed to turn to crap. Although I noticed it's not actually very windy outside, but that's all right. So, yeah. And the other thing was I was dropping the boat in for a service today, so I needed the boat hooked up either way. So I figured I was halfway out the drive, you know what I mean?
So basically, you've hooked the boat up last night and go, I better go fishing now. The boat's hooked up.
Yeah, and Joe called me, and Joe's exceptionally good at getting himself on trips, and like I appreciate the way he does it.
I've got it down to a fine art.
Yeah, he just sort of senses when there's fishing happening, and puts his hat in the ring. Is that how you do it, Joe?
Yeah, well, you know, if I have a look, and I just look at what I just get on what Seabreeze is doing.
You get on Seabreeze.
I just get on Seabreeze and I just like have a look at it and I just go, oh, hey Dave.
So I can guarantee you, if Seabreeze was in the good wind zone, you would have ventured down to Brendan's house, done your real estate photos, and go, anyone fishing tonight?
It just might be a boat that happens to drive past that I might be able to just hop on, you know?
Yes.
Look, there's 3 boats that are running, and if there's a good weather window, you know, he's a fair chance at hopping on one of those boats.
He is. I actually saw him out in his little, what was it, 420 Buster or Dory?
Yeah, 420 Dory. I absolutely love that boat. Center console. I've had it for about 11 years now.
11 years, wow.
It's caught lots of good fish in it.
Yeah, what's it caught?
It caught about a 20 kilo odd school shark.
Oh wow, that's impressive.
Yep. It's got snapper, it's caught whiting, it's called parrotfish. It's called banjos.
Jay, no one actually calls them parrotfish. They're just called wrasse. Parrotfish is a fancy name for guys, look at this colourful pretty fish I caught.
Things really dropped away. Are you serious, mate?
Damn it.
Some sort of real estate person calling him.
Yeah.
Go take it, Joe.
Oh, man.
You disgusting human.
He actually is. And he's leaving his phone ringing on loud mode.
Go.
But anyway.
Go. No, if you want to take it, just go. Yeah, but hurry up.
Yeah, so...
So that was quite the descent. All right, well, you're not here to defend yourself, so that was quite the descent from school shark, which is not bad, down to parrotfish within like 3 rungs.
Yeah.
So...
He's gone from the top of the food chain, as a school shark in Western Port, to...
I don't know about top of the food chain, but yeah.
Well, they got teeth, they're a shark.
Yeah.
What else?
Taupe.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Reason. Anyway, so it dropped away rather rapidly is what I'm saying. So the boat's not really what you'd call a big fish.
He said he's had it for 11 years and it's caught lots of great fish, so we'll go with that.
I reckon I've seen him use it about 3 times in the whole time I've known him.
Well, it's funny because do you remember that session we had in September?
No.
And we got down to the boat ramp and you said, Adrian, why are we even fishing? Look at the weather. And it was a big easterly and Stony Point ramp looked like absolute crap and it was windy. And he said, we're here now, might as well go fishing.
Yeah.
And that day was the best snapper session we've had this year. Do you remember?
Yeah. What, the first trip?
Yeah, that's where that Gaga Otaku came from, that 88 centimetre thing.
I'd forgotten about that bit. But
anyway, so that day, Joe messaged us that afternoon because we came in about 1 or 2 o'clock. Had a
Yep.
pub meal at the pub and then went home.
Yeah.
And Joey had called us when he got back to the ramp. What are you guys doing? And he was trying to sniff out a snapper chip because he had seen that we had caught great fish that morning.
He's an absolute pro at it. But unlucky for him, we actually went in the morning for once.
Yep.
And he'd missed out.
Exactly. So later that day, he fixed his boat apparently and he took it out. And he ended up taking it out of Carrum. And I live in Carrum. And I just get this random phone call about 6 o'clock. Like, what are you doing? I said, I just got home, washed up, about to eat dinner with the family. You want to come get me? I'm broken down outside of Patterson River there. I'm like, what do you mean you've broken down? Oh, yeah, just outside of the mouth there.
And it was pretty windy at this point too, wasn't it? And he knew he was water testing a suspect motor. Like it had been playing up already.
Yeah.
So instead of just putting around the nice safe river, he went out into the bay in the chop.
Yeah. He did, because when I launched the boat and I was coming through the entrance, the mouth there, it was a bit of a westerly, so you get wind straight onto it. And then the bar was actually rolling. I'm like, did Joey actually just go through this in his broken boat? Anyway, I kept going out past it all, and he's like another 5 minutes past it, like at full noise.
Yeah, because he's trying to test how long it can go at full speed before it stops.
That's exactly what he did.
But instead of doing that close to the ramp,
Yeah.
he just kept going in one direction, obviously.
Well, I think in the Patterson River, you can't go more than 5 knots now. I remember at the back, you used to be able to go as fast as you want. Now I think it's 5 knots everywhere.
I never remember being able to go as fast as you want. But
Oh, really? Whoops. I've definitely done it at the back of the river there.
Oh, well, you might have been able to. I'm not really much of a Paddo River man. I go there like 3 times a year. I do my Christmas lights cruise there,
Yep.
which is always a good time. You doing that this year, Adrian? We'll get a flotilla going.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get lots of boats happening and
Yep, cheese and biscuits, and
yeah.
it's going to be bloody epic, mate.
I'm just going to roll with the electric motor down the whole night and just crash into things, I think.
That'll be really impressive.
Yeah.
The trick is you leave all your nav lights off and go into dark mode, then you creep up on boats and then turn them all on at once and surprise them.
Hey, how do you reckon that works? Like, your nav light's obviously green and red, and that's the colour of the Christmas, green and red. Does that get distracting, you reckon?
I'd say it's probably not recommended to put too many Christmas lights on your boat while navigating.
Yes.
I mean, if you're going to, probably use colours that aren't going to clash.
Yep.
Do you
I
think
agree with that.
That's probably appropriate.
Yep. No, but I'm just saying, because green and red are traditionally the colours of Christmas.
Yep.
And
And you know why?
why?
Oh, because from day dot, Santa Claus has had nav lights on his sleigh. And when kids look up and see Santa go over their roof, ready to go down the chimney, he's got the nav lights going, and they associate that with Christmas.
Okay. We'll go with that then.
You can absolutely take that to the bank, Adrian.
Yep, we'll go with that then.
Yep. So, we're moving on from...
Yeah,
Christmas?
yeah. So
I don't know how we got into that, but a little fishing update from this week. Did you
do
go?
I have a fishing update?
Yeah.
Well, I went fishing on... When did I go?
I don't know. 2 nights ago?
Couple of nights. Yeah, it was actually... I looked at the weather and go, oh, shit, we've got about 4 low-pressure systems coming on us.
Perfect.
And, yeah, which means a lot of rain and random strong winds. And so I looked at the weather and go, you know what? I'm going. And I did the classic, I've got no bait, and Dave's got no bait left in his freezer. So I can't steal his bait because I've already stolen it all on multiple trips.
Yeah. Actually, as a side note, I found a long-lost packet of squid in there last night.
I bloody knew it.
But I'm pretty sure it looked pretty manky. I think it had been on a swordfish trip.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have been counting on that anyway.
Yeah, so I had no bait.
Yep.
So I had to go down to Hastings Bait and Tackle. I think that's what it's called. Spot on, online, whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, and because I never actually buy bait. I don't know how much to buy. Because us Western Port fishers, we like to pride ourselves on, catching our bait and then transforming it. the old Megatron trick.
Yep.
And that hasn't panned out for us lately because we can't actually catch squid because we suck.
Well, no, well, we caught some squid and then we just kept going snapping fishing and didn't do any more squid trips.
No, but normally you can at least catch one or two like a couple of hours before you want to fish that snapper tide.
Yeah.
So I go down to the tackle shop, get some bait, and I was kind of bamboozled looking at the freezer like, how much
What?
bait do I actually buy? So I came out with a bag of whiting. Like it must have been 6 or 8 in there. Little silver whiting. So I'm like, great, that can go on the squid spike.
Oh, yep. I thought you were going to use them for the bait.
Well, why not?
Well, they're very popular in Port Phillip, but
Yeah.
traditionally I've found them not so good in Western Port.
Anyway, that's not the reason I bought it. I
Oh.
bought it for the squid spike.
Yep.
And then I bought a bag of pilchards. Pilchards
Yep.
work great,
Yep.
but they fall off the hook easy. There's a
They
lot
don't
of
like
current.
the current. Yep.
Yep. And they spin.
Yep.
So then I also bought Californian squids.
Oh,
So I bought, I think maybe a 2 or 3 kilo bag of pilchards. I'm like, that's a lot. They'll last me a long time.
yep.
And I bought just a 1 kilo little box of Californian squids.
Yeah.
And I did the old cocksock bait.
Oh, the old cocksock.
Do you remember the cocksock baits?
Yeah, well, a lot of people are aware of the old cock in a sock these days. It's quite a popular method, but if you could explain to people that aren't aware,
So I don't know if you can see that. That's a cocksock bait right there.
what's called a cock in a sock,
I like to call it the old 4 seasons,
right?
the old protector. Because
Literally never heard you say that before, but yep.
yes, I called it that the other night.
Okay.
Check your messages. Anyway,
All right, I will.
so you can
Pause the podcast. I got to check messages.
yep. So that was my bait of choice.
Yep.
But because I had, so many pilchards but so little squid,
Yeah.
I ran out of squid quite quick.
Oh no, you got your ratios wrong.
Yes, that's where I came into the trouble. Like, I've got too much bait. What am I going to do with it all? And then when you start catching all the rubbish fish,
Yep.
because I caught about 10 Port Jacksons straight up. I was like, I'm in a damn nursery here.
Yep. The peanut butter and jelly nursery.
Yep. I'm like, I'm running out of bait real quick. This ain't good.
And then
And then,
I feel like this is building to a real crescendo.
no, not really. And I was winding in lots of weed, which is so annoying. And then I'll start catching even more shit fish. So there's another one. That's the Brendan
Oh.
testicle special.
Yeah. you didn't get it through your testy, did you?
No, as you can see, I had my long nose pliers there, keeping it well away from my testicles.
They look like a little bit like a lionfish.
Don't they? So, yeah, that's the species we were talking about that actually stabbed Brendan because the gurnards, there's a couple of different species of them. You got the beautiful butterfly one that everyone loves eating and they look beautiful. And
The flying gurnard.
yep. So I caught a couple of them, a lot of Port Jacksons and a couple of gummies. A couple of nice ones, but I despise them, so I threw them back in.
Yep. They were probably urinated on you through their skin.
And then it just went real quiet for about 2 hours.
Yep.
And my bait's falling off with the weed because I only had pilchards and
Excellent.
it was just going terrible. It wasn't an ideal session and I was just looking at, I'm like, come on, snapper gods. I was actually yelling this out. Where are you? I just want a damn snapper. This is so frustrating. I've got the worst bait in the world. I've just gone to the tackle shop and bought bait. And I'm running really low at this stage. I'm like, all right, I've got 2 pilchards left in the bag. This is my last rack of rods. The sun's just dipped below the horizon. You can just
Yeah.
see a tiny bit of light. And I'm like, that's it. No more bait. Last rack in. And
And?
rod 4 just goes. I'm like, oh no, is that an eagle ray? And I picked it up and it started head knocking. I'm like, yes, I've done it.
Finally.
Yes.
On the pilchard.
Yes, on the old humble pilchard.
Jeez.
Actually, it was funny because Tony, Big T at the tackle shop, laughed at me when I bought pilchards. He literally gave me this, like, pilchards. I tried running them last year. No good. That's all he said.
Yeah, they're hard work.
Yeah.
The fish bloody eat them, but they just get attacked by everything else and then fall off your hook.
Yeah.
I reckon that's the main issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like a
100%.
lot of the time when you got your fresh calamari, who knows how much is actually left of the bait by the time all the pickers have had a crack at it.
Exactly.
But there is something left.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the beauty of it. So you got one.
Yeah. So that wasn't the end of my troubles, Dave.
Oh.
Yes, there was a lot more troubles. So initially I thought it was an eagle ray. I got quite disappointed and then it started head shaking, which made me really happy.
That's
So it's done like a huge run. Like I thought this is going to be a good fish. And it's obviously naturally crossed over to rod number 3, tangled into that. So I start winding it. I'm like, oh, it's getting close. Still wrapped around rod number 3. All of a sudden, I'm still winding in. Rod number 3's in my reel now.
Oh my God.
Yes, it was terrible. I'm like, I don't know how that happened. So I start backing the drag off and, unfeeding it out of the reel that it shouldn't be in.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
See, this is what happens when I'm not there.
Exactly.
You just can't cope, can you?
No, well, I just thought it'd just keep rolling down the line that I was winding in, and it didn't. It actually wound into my reel. So I'm feeding it down out of the reel. I'm like, this is fucked. It's a big mess now.
Seems counterproductive.
Yes.
Let it
So
line
I
out
put
while
my
you got
rod
a fish
down
in.
on the boat that I'm fighting the fish, and I end up hand lining the fish in.
Really?
Yes. And it's just flapping on the water, just like, this is not good.
Man.
So I'm hand lining it with one hand in the end because I got the net in the other hand. So I'm just like clenching it in my hand, quickly grabbing more line and scooped it up with, I don't know, probably like 20 meters of the other line, just tangled all in it and landed on the deck. I'm like, I've done it. Yes.
Hard earned.
Hard earned.
You would have appreciated that one.
I did, Dave, because you know what made it even worse? My wife said to me, are you actually going to catch fish this trip?
Oh.
I'm like, yes, I'm going for snapper. Of course I'm going to catch something. I'm not going for the elusive barrels out of Western Port.
Yeah. When did we not catch something last time?
I did my tea tree comp and
that's
had
right.
a very shit time. So I've only missed once this season in Western Port.
How'd you go, Joe? Did you sell the house? You'd better off.
But anyway, so I got the fish, checked the hook set, and it was hooked through the bony part of the lip. So I'm like, couldn't have had a better hookup. I was never going to lose that fish, even with all the dramas I had on the rod. So, yeah, Joey, you just missed my story about my trip, and it was quite interesting. It went from 0 to hero, basically like that.
But we don't need to run through that again.
No.
As exciting as it was,
Yeah, so
I enjoyed it personally.
I got the fish. It was a good-looking fish, about 76. Disappointing that it didn't go over 80. Went about 4.8 kilo, and cooked up the frame last night. It was bloody delicious.
You cooked up the frame.
Yep.
What happened to the fillets?
No, they're cryovac in the fridge for another day.
Waiting to give to me.
I'm curious how your snapper frame went actually.
Oh, did you see the story? Did you?
I saw it because the only reason why I asked because other blokes they also suggest that doing tuna frames is quite nice, but I found it pretty strong. I've got to admit.
Yeah.
Snapper frame isn't as strong as tuna.
No.
'Cause it's a white flesh, so white flesh are normally a flavourless fish, which is why people like eating them because you can add your own flavours to them and make it taste however you want.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be doing it with tuna, although it could be good. But snapper's definitely a
I
lot.
would smoke it so you get a different flavour into the tuna. But
yeah.
So how I did my fish, Joey, I had this Jamaican jerk rub that I got from the market about a year ago, and I just rubbed it and soaked it in there for about 10 minutes. So I did the ribs as well, and it was bloody delicious, Joey. You had the jerk flavour, spiciness, and it was all rubbed in it and sensational. Smoky barbecue flavour.
Nothing like a bit of Jamaican jerk.
Yes.
No, it's like from the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know, did you sell the house, Joe? You can't just disappear from the podcast and come back and not update us.
Oh no! Look, there's a deal going through at the moment, and the purchaser has to pay their deposit, or else if they don't pay their deposit, it's a lot of naughty things are going to happen. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh, so you actually have to pay your deposit on time, do you? I thought
Yeah,
that was
it's
just
forms part of the contract.
I thought that was just a natural thing you do. You just pay your deposit when you
you-
buy a house.
You can't.
No, because they might not have got finance.
You can't.
Wait, hang
Yeah.
on. The deposit is your own money in your bank account, isn't it?
Well, no.
Sometimes.
What do you mean? Sometimes people finance their own deposit.
It's a long boring rabbit hole. But pretty much, if you like spit and shake on something,
Yeah.
and you can't give the 10% deposit after you've spat in your hand and shook on it.
Yeah.
There's lots of penalties.
Yeah, right. That's crazy.
But anyways,
I prefer a blood handshake personally.
The blood brotherhood.
It's binding,
Yeah.
especially if you've got a disease. Then it's really binding.
hey, guess what? I've got a top 5 for you.
Yeah, well,
Top 5 already, Joey. What?
Joe, are we jumping straight into your top 5?
Yeah, why not? Let's just kick it right off.
Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead with the intro song then that I've just written this morning.
Oh no, Dave's decided he'd do Joey an intro song.
Yeah. All right. Here we go. It's Joey's top 5 countdown. All right, that's good.
Okay, yeah.
Nailed it. You get the gist.
All right, cool. Last night, top 5 boat songs. Dave's beautiful JBL speaker, which we love taking offshore. That was flat, so that was a non-event. So we only had iPhones last night. And look, this is not of all time, but this was just last night's top 5 boat songs.
So you could have a top 5 for every trip. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I just think I think every week there should be a top 5 on this podcast.
Yeah, that's why I've just recorded an intro.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. Well done, Dave.
I asked the guys if I should pre-record one, and they all wanted me to sing it live. So
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so we got to the fishing grounds last night, and just as the boat was starting to slow down and we were looking for somewhere to drop the anchor, I was just sort of feeling like a nice kind of
He's grooving here in his chair.
slow kind of tempo.
Like he's making love to the...
Yeah, and I was just thinking to myself, bum, bum, da, 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 dun, dun, dun,
Oh,
da, 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 dun, dun, dun. I was channeling Leave Your Hat On. I don't even know who sung that, but I just said, Joe Cocker, Leave Your Hat On. It's just big, and it's just
So that's your favourite... That's your number 5 boat song of last night.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then that's number 5.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Did you leave your hat on?
Well, Dave dropped his hat, being the anchor hat, onto the seafloor.
it was
Okay.
the best when it repeated itself 3 times in a row while I was trying to anchor.
Oh, it was lovely. And then
You had trouble anchoring, Dave?
No.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
I don't know. While we were setting up, it just kept replaying.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable on the 3rd run.
Oh, yeah, and even Dave was chiming in with the background vote because he was like, "Can you leave your hat on?" I was like, "Yeah, that's it, Davey."
Yeah, I usually do the falsettos. I feel like I've got a real good falsetto.
And then we got the first lot of rods out, and then it's just I was channeling that Full Monty kind of soundtrack vibe,
Yeah.
and it was just I believe in miracles. Where you from?
So that's
You
number 4, is
sex
it?
thing. Yeah, Dave's
Hot
bringing.
chocolate.
Yeah, Dave's bringing in the reels, and he's like, "You sex thing."
Is that hot chocolate?
Yeah, that's it. Hot chocolate. So that's number 4.
Yeah.
And then we weren't catching many fish, so I just thought I'd find a real uplifting song to, maybe re-motivate us. This was at the point of do we stay or do we move spots? And then I thought, okay, Dave, well, let's just do this one. And then I did. Young hearts run free.
Any normal songs coming up, Joe? Or...
No, it's
Well,
Joe.
No, I just went down that rabbit hole, and then, anyways, the fishing was not going very well at all, and then I thought to myself, pum, 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 pum. It was Pressure Down by John Farnham.
Right, so he's just going to hum the bass lines and drums, and
Yeah.
we've got to basically guess what he's singing.
Yeah, I didn't get which one was that one? John Farnham.
Yeah, Pressure Down.
Okay,
Sing,
so
sing.
that's his
Take
number
the
2.
pressure down.
Oh, nah. Well, was it the barometer pressure going down or the pressure of not catching a fish going up?
No, that's exactly right. Pressure
you
down.
can-
You said it was a mega low system.
Oh, right. I didn't
Okay.
realize that much thought had gone into those song selections.
Yeah, the barometer pressure's gone down. So I was like, yeah, take the pressure down.
Thankfully, it wasn't actually a fishing trip. It was just a pie cooking trip in the pie oven.
Oh, yeah. And then, that was good. Well
So
done.
you're cooking pies all night.
Yeah.
That would have been my top activity, eating the pies, I reckon.
Yes, party pies.
Oh, party pies. So they would have taken a bit quicker to cook than regular pies.
Unfortunately, I overloaded the oven a bit, so it took a while. But once they were hot, they were real
I'll
steamers.
tell you a story about an oven. One day we installed an oven in Dave's gun shop.
Yes.
And
Our first oven experience.
we went to Portland and we decided we'd launch the boat, and while the boat's in the water, we turned the oven on and slammed it. Hash browns. We had, what else do we have? Pies, sausage rolls, hash browns. Slammed them in the oven.
This is as we launched because
Yeah.
we thought, oh yeah, we'll get those puppies cooking now.
Yep, basically. And
And then we
coming
headed
around
yeah.
Lawrence Rock, it was quite rough. And by the time we put lures in, we decided to check the oven, and we had mashed potato.
Yep.
It was shaken and stirred.
Wow. That's
Real life
unreal.
hack. If you want to turn your hash browns into hash potato, into mashed potato, you just drive for 30 kilometers in the Southern Ocean
Yeah.
and they'll mash themselves.
Those potatoes being mashed, like that would have just smelt amazing for the remainder of the oven's life. Every time it would have heated up, it would have just been like, oh, there's
Joey,
hot
Joey,
chips.
There's still bits
Yeah,
of that potato in crevices of that boat.
Joey, you opened the oven door. Actually, it kept opening itself because we kept smacking things. But
Yeah.
after we checked the mayhem, after we went through, there was potato and just shit everywhere. No one even wanted to look at the oven after that. It was brand new. And, yeah, we had a great time. I think we had to clean the oven before we used it next.
I think we still just scooped the potato out and chucked some pies on that day, so it wasn't
Yeah.
a complete failure. But that was like, we literally did a trip to Portland just to use that oven because we'd just put it in there. It was a very exciting period of our lives.
Was that a bigger oven in the gun shop?
Yeah, a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Can you believe Dave got that as a Christmas present, right?
Some Christmas present.
And he
yeah.
gave that to Jonah.
It was part of the boat sale, and then guess where it is now? It's not even in there. 'Cause
What?
He broke it.
How did you break it?
Well, he didn't secure it properly. He came off a wave, and it just fell off, and apparently it's broken.
Didn't we used to put an Oki strap around it?
Yeah.
And he didn't do that?
No.
Ooh.
They're not that hard to fix. It's just an element in a thermostat.
Yeah, but he's a scientist.
Yeah, Batman's a scientist.
He'd have no chance.
Weird science.
He'll just he'll just try and give it like some sort of fisheries caution until it works again.
Yeah, right.
That's how he's going to roll with that one. Alrighty, moving on.
Yep.
Moving on
What else
from
is
pie
happening, Dave? So
stories.
you went fishing and you, as Joey said in his top 5 songs, it was a failure.
Oh yeah, did we get to number one?
No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah, because we talked about ovens. Sorry,
Oh.
Joey.
Yeah, no, that's all right. No, well, the number one song, which, well, I thought it would have been fitting, was Lady Gaga, "The Edge of Glory," as in was sounding on the edge of glory.
You want to give me a demo, Joey?
That's a bit out of my range.
Oh, okay.
I'm on the edge.
Oh, no,
crap.
that's not good.
It's definitely way out of my range.
That is not good. Okay,
All right,
moving
stop,
on.
Stop
That's
that.
not good.
Stop that.
No, that's it.
Don't go, everyone. Keep your radios on.
Yeah, so what else you got for us today, Dave?
Alrighty, so we actually, one of our 3 listeners, viewers on YouTube actually sent us in a question. Was it on YouTube? Yeah, on YouTube.
Hang on. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys, because we've got what have we got now? Like 90 followers?
Probably, yeah, 9.
And when we get to 500 followers, guys, or subscribers, we're doing a competition because I have a charter boat, Dave has a charter boat, or it's the same boat, and we're going to give away a couple of charters on the Snapper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Joey,
Get in there, Joe.
subscribe, mate.
And I'm sure Joe will be hovering around the ramp at that time and jump on the boat. So that'll be good, won't it?
Yeah. That's it. That'd be nice.
All right, well,
Maybe then, and we'll have some like nice food as well. Maybe we could have one of my top 5 boat meals.
yeah, potentially.
Top 5.
I'm thinking the Joe Burgers.
Yes.
Very good. I like Joe Burgers.
Anyway,
Awesome.
we had a message in from a guy named Zach on YouTube.
Yep. What's he saying?
He's asked us a few questions. So,
Hello, Zach.
yeah, thanks so much for writing in, Zach. Appreciate it. We're going to run through your questions now. So, Zach's asked, what is our bucket list fish? I'm going to start with Joey.
Oh, bucket list fish. Oh, yeah. I got to say, bucket list fish, and I've seen some crazy-ass YouTube videos of it, is the giant tarpon from Florida.
Oh man, they look
Love that.
incredible, those fish.
Yeah.
And they catch them in shallow waters and kayaks and little skiffs and stuff as well.
Yeah, they do. They look insane. It's about 150 kilos, and they jump out of the water.
150 kilos?
Yeah.
Dave, are we going to fact check this?
It's potentially. No.
150 kilos.
Yeah.
I think he's thinking pounds.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, Joey, look it up.
Look it up. Where
I
is
reckon
he?
potentially can grow too, maybe. But I'm not sure.
Where is he?
But they do look pretty insane, those tarpon.
Oh man, they look incredible. You know, you can get them in the Whit Sundays and stuff, but
Yeah, but
they're
they're
a
tiny.
lot smaller.
They're micros.
Yeah.
But the big ones in Florida.
Well, this video that I saw was they actually caught him down in Colombia.
Right.
A grade.
Not quite sure where that is, but
Colombia.
yeah, they are
South America.
Not sure
amazing
where
fish.
Colombia is. What?
No, I do.
Yeah.
That's South America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where you buy all your cocaine from.
Yeah, exactly.
Adrian's a cocaine fiend,
El
everyone.
Chapo.
Never had it.
No.
So I'm not sure.
No, I've just completely made that up.
What's your top fish, Dave? Bucket list.
My bucket list fish. Well, I kind of like doing things the hard way.
Oh God, here we go.
So I'm not going to just jump on a plane and jump on a boat and wind something in. But one thing I'd really love to do in my lifetime is tow our boat, like a trailer boat, up to Cairns
Yeah,
and catch 1,000-pound black marlin.
that's an amazing thing to do.
Yeah.
I know a lot of guys who tow their boats up to try to do that.
It's very doable.
Yeah.
You just need to get the right weather. It's only about a 60 to 70k run to the outside of the reef from Cooktown, from what I can understand.
Isn't there like pontoons and stuff out there that you can just like hook on like a mothership or something?
I'm not sure. Look, I haven't done much research yet. This is
Okay.
a future goal when I've got more money and time.
That sounds amazing.
But yeah, so I'd love to have a crack at one of these 1,000-pound black marlin out of a trailer boat.
Isn't it happening right now?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
big black marlin season right now. So if you
Big
had the
dog
money
season now.
and resources, isn't there that?
and the Queensland border was open.
Yes. Isn't there a good friend of ours, Mitch Bertuccini? Does he work on one of those big game boats?
Nah, I don't think he does. I think he runs out of Noosa.
Oh.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, I'm just
I believe
have
you.
a crack, you know.
Yeah, no, you've
He's
made a
bringing
wild
back the,
guess. You've associated Queensland and charter boats and just jumped to that conclusion.
Yeah,
No, I think Mitch goes out of Noosa.
very good.
Yeah, not for the real big dogs. So yeah, that's what I'd love to do one day in my lifetime, Adrian. I think it's going to require a fair bit of planning and
Yep.
resources, but I think it's 100% doable. What about you? What's your bucket list fish?
Well, I saw Dave. He actually caught my bucket list fish last year. He got a blue devil.
Oh,
No, that's not my bucket list fish, but I'd love to catch one of them. They look bloody amazing.
they are pretty cool. Blue devils are these these tropical looking fish that we get down here in the cold south.
Yeah, they kind of look like a coral trout / wrasse thing.
Yep.
And they look beautiful and amazing. But that's not, I was just saying that as a bit of a quip. But
No, good one. Well done.
You know what? You guys are going bucket list fish. Like, turn around and look at that giant photo on the wall. Like,
This one?
100-pound mulloway in Western Port 2016. I think that would be a bucket list fish for a lot of people probably listening to this podcast.
How did that get there?
I moved it so it's in frame.
How does that accidentally appear in the back of the video, Adrian?
It's immortalized.
Oh my.
No, but honestly, my true bucket list fish is casting poppers or stick baits for a big bull mahi-mahi. That is my dream fish. I've been wanting to
Beautiful
do that for
looking
ages.
fish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where would you go and do? Where would you go and do that?
Well, you can kind of do it anywhere, Burmie, Eden. There's a lot of
big ones. You know what I mean? There's plenty of small ones.
There was some big bulls caught last year, wasn't there, Dave?
It was a good bull season.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
We're in JB and we found this floating tree just swimming by, and we go, let's cast at it, but we kind of had nothing set up.
Yeah.
And there was actual like big mahis on it, and by the time we came back around, they kind of got scared. So
it was the premium looking dolphin tree.
Yeah, like a floating island just floating by.
It was like a tree of dolphins.
Yeah.
So for people that aren't aware, dolphin fish are attracted to structure offshore. Any little bit of floating flotsam and jetsam, they tend to hold under. So if you see something, yep. So if you see something floating around offshore and you're in the warm enough water, always worth a look, because those big bulls and the rest of them, not just the bulls, they can be under that.
Yep. So right, number 2, guys. If you could go fishing anywhere in the world for a week, where and what would you be trying to catch? Joey?
We start with you.
Joey? Oh, wow. Gee, that's just on the spot. Oh, gosh. Probably, look, I probably haven't had as much experience at it as well, I've been out a lot for them, but look, that Prince Edward Island, I would have no problems going out every day for huge tuna. That would be awesome.
Just took my one.
Oh, really?
Pig. Carry on.
You guys are just copying Brendan.
But no, that's interesting though. Like, because it's like, yeah, Dave, I regard you guys have caught heaps of big tuna, but you'd just be happy to catch big tuna every single day.
Imagine catching a 1,000-pounder out of here, Dave.
Yeah, I could imagine it.
Do you reckon
in my
it'll ever
wildest
happen?
dreams. Well, there's actually this week, Adrian, been a couple of Pacific bluefin caught by the commercial fishermen off the south coast.
Off Portland?
No, off like
Burmie,
Bermagui,
yeah.
Eden.
Oh, wow.
That's happened before.
Because we've looked at the data for them, and they often do swim past Lake's entrance.
Yeah, well, apparently they also do swim wide of South Australia, Portland, and down the west coast of Tasmania. And there's been rumours of them caught, but never any hard evidence. But there's also been a lot of people have crazy like tuna fights, and conclusions have been jumped to that they're possibly Pacifics.
I reckon I lost the Pacific out of Western Port in 2016. What do you reckon, Dave? That was a big fish.
When was that specifically?
2016.
Yeah, nah.
Now, what happened? Did you get spooled?
No, Dave ran over a seal and popped the line, I think.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, what actually happened?
Dave clamped the reel. Never talk about it again. But so that's what you do for a week, Joey. That's a pretty big effort to try to do, because have you seen them actually do it? They catch all these herring. Are they herring?
Yeah. Herring.
And they leave a net of these dozens and dozens of herring under the boat, just floating there in the net, and that's how they attract it.
Well, they literally set a net for the herring, but not to catch the herring.
Yeah.
Just to get their herring, to catch the herring, but not to catch herring for the sake of catching herring.
No, we know. It's a tractor device.
They get the herring in the net.
Yeah.
And then the tuna are accustomed to following the herring nets around.
Yeah.
And then that's how they keep the tuna around the boat.
It's an incredible distance to actually get there. Like, we're in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia right now. It is literally from one side of the map all the way up to the top right-hand corner. Like, you probably looking at, almost, it might be 30 hours of flying.
Yeah, well, I know there's a few connecting flights in there. And Prince Edward Island's a very small place. So I think you got to jump on one of those little death planes to get from wherever you fly into to get to there.
Is that Canada?
Yep.
Yeah, it is. It's Canada.
But they catch a lot of big ones down the west coast of America as well, don't they?
The East Coast.
Oh, the East Coast, sorry, yeah. New York side.
Yeah, but for consistent size, I think the East Coast is actually coming back somewhat, but Canada's where the mega dogs are.
Yeah, right.
So I think the world record is like 1,600 pounds, 1,600 and something pounds.
That's a big fish.
Yeah. So massive tuna.
Big fatty.
They're close to shore, and it's consistent, and it's really heavily managed. You're only allowed, each of those commercial fishermen only get one kill tag a year, so they're only allowed to kill one a year. And what
Is that commercial, you're saying? Only one?
I don't think you're allowed to recreationally fish for them there unless you've got a some sort of commercial.
Oh, wow. That's how
Operation going on.
endangered they are.
Well, they were absolutely they virtually disappeared off that coast for 20 to 30 years. I've just made that number up, but it was a long time.
Yeah.
They were plentiful once upon a time, and they've come back in big numbers now, and they're just being managed so that the same mistakes of the past aren't repeated.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, that's a good bucket list fish to go for, Joey. Now
Yeah.
that they're making a good comeback, you wouldn't feel so bad catching one of them, I guess. So,
Well, you don't get to keep them anyway,
no.
unless
How come Brendan got to keep his one?
well, he was just lucky enough that he jumped on that boat,
And there was the first capture?
No, well, it wasn't their first, but it was. They decided the market was at the right point where they wanted to use their kill tag. So he happened to be on the boat at that period, and they were always going to keep their next fish that they caught.
Was he with Rock then, wasn't he?
No, he was. I don't think so. No, he was with Sammy Gandor from New York.
Yeah.
And Kim Barnard.
Yep.
Another bloke from down here who jumped on, and Shane Lowry.
Yeah,
Another
nice.
mate of ours. So they went up there and had their trip of a lifetime. And so I too was going to say Prince Edward Island just for the fact that it's just so many of those ridiculously big tuna there. And I personally think that there's not too many things in the world that can pull as hard as a big tuna.
Well, both good ones, even though it's the same one.
Well, I'll come up with a secondary.
Well, I'll tell you
Okay.
what my plan is.
Sorry.
I'll set up my little 420.
Yep.
What could you possibly do with that?
Catch a blue devil.
No, well, I want to take this on the big cat. You heard of the big cat?
Oh, hey, this was my plan.
I wanted to take it out on the big cat to those far, far islands they go to and catch big, big doggies. Have you seen those little little boats catching those huge giant dog?
That's
dogfish?
like Nomad.
No, it's called the big cat.
Where's the big cat?
It's
I
just
haven't
this
heard of
big cat boat.
It runs out of Bundaberg, Joe, and
Yeah.
it goes like 300 to 400 kilometres offshore to all these really remote reefs.
So it's like a ferry or it's like a mothership.
No,
It's kind of both.
Yeah, it's a giant cat, basically.
Mhm.
They
And-
will load
and
your boat on there for you and take your
Yeah.
boat out there, or you can use one of their boats.
So they got, I think, 5 or so little boats on the big boat, and you can crane your own boat on their boat.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, when you get to the destination, they crane it off and just tow the boats behind it. And every morning, you just jump on your own boat and just start catching big fish out of your little boats.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want to do.
Wow.
It sounds incredible.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that I'd come up with that plan.
Well, we spoke about doing it as like last year. I'm like, let's do it now. Let's do it now. And then,
COVID.
obviously,
Life,
yep.
pregnancies.
Because Brendan would probably be in as well with his tinny, and
Yeah.
I'd take my tinny because it's set up for that kind of fishing now with all the trannies and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that'd be sensational and a very worthy answer, Adrian.
Yep.
Just a little fact check that just came in.
Yeah.
That giant tarpon I was talking about.
Here
It's
we go.
if you have a look, it's on the YouTube channel. It's called Black Tip.
Black Tip H. Yes,
Yeah,
we know
Black
him
Tip
well.
H. Yep. 312 pounds estimated.
So you're saying
I said 150. So there you go.
that's a big fish, though. 300 pound. What's that?
Giant
That's-
tarpon, Colombia. Check it out. I reckon that would be an unbelievable fish.
I remember that fish. They all held it out of the water by the gills and pretty much murdered it for a photo. And they copped a heap of flack online.
Do you remember when he took Greg Norman, the shark, out and caught the world's biggest hammerhead?
Yeah.
So the shark caught a shark, ironically.
He sharked himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think in Florida and stuff, it's illegal to pull those tarpon out of the water
Yes,
because
I've
they're
seen that.
fragile and they were so much of as a sport fish. So these guys went to wherever it was, Joe. Where was it?
Colombia.
Yeah, Colombia, where you're allowed to
I
molest
get it.
them.
Yep.
And they basically pulled it out of the water for a thumbnail and now it's dead.
Another species they catch over there that is very similar to our mulloway, the red drum.
Yeah.
They look incredible.
Red
And-
drum.
Yeah, so they kind of look like that, right? But they have unique little spots on their tails, and that's how you can tell them apart because they're so unique, those little spots.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you, mate.
That's incredible.
Didn't you know about that?
Tell me more.
Well, that's all I know.
Okay.
They
Well, I
unique
enjoyed
little
that.
spots on their tail, and yeah, you can tell if you've caught it before because they're very unique.
That's great. Do you want to circle back around on the uniqueness?
Yep, exactly.
All right, fine. We'll move on to the last question.
Okay, dream trailer boat, assuming money is not an issue. Joey, what do you got for us? He's thinking money's not an issue here, so
Look, I'm gonna pinch somebody that I work with's dream boat.
yeah,
It's the big Eden craft with the hard top.
yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There's been one of them kicking around the last few days, actually. You mean the new shape one?
Just but big Eden craft with the like pretty much if I want. No, I don't know
like
exactly.
a 233 or
Yeah, I saw a 233 yesterday, but no, imagine like Dave's boat, but just like bigger with a hard top.
Yep.
like
So-
a Cootercraft Chief kind of thing.
Dave, you were there.
He doesn't know what boat it is.
So a company called Edencraft here in Victoria make a 233 vessel. A 233 is based a very popular hull shape and length, which is originated in America. Very deep V soft riding boats, and Edencraft have come up with one with a nice big house on top of it. Is that right, Joe?
Yeah, well said.
A cabin.
Thanks for that. Thanks for
Yeah.
articulating that for me. You
So-
guys know boats a little bit better than me.
No, that's a very worthy choice. They're a great boat. You can't go too wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
So, you going, Adrian, or?
No, you go, mate.
All right. Well, I don't want to sound stupid, but I am extremely happy with the boat I've got at the moment, which is a 6 meter Edencraft. It's a beautiful all round boat for what we do. It's safe as houses. It'll punch through nearly any weather, and it's easily towable around to the different fishing destinations. But I guess if I had to be extravagant, I'd probably go one of the big Cootercraft boats.
The Chief?
I've lost track of what the big ones are called, but I think, is the Chief the big one?
I don't know. Wasn't there a new one?
Oh, you know what he's making now is the Don Arano cigarette. No,
Oh, yeah.
no. What is it? Oh,
He got the plug for it or
one
something.
of those
wasn't
ones.
it?
Yeah, one of the big 40-foot race boats. He's just got the hull for that,
Yeah.
but that's probably not a trailer boat, Adrian.
Nah. Well, you know what? Speaking of that, if you have a look on the screen, this is probably my dream trailer boat.
Oh yeah, good call.
Because I do like the center console-ness of boats because you can cast all around. But look at that. That's the Freeman 47, right? That's an American vessel, and a lot of guys have them in Florida for their sword fishing. But
Yeah.
they are amazing vessels.
Yeah,
That is really... I would love to have that. Money's not an issue. You can put it on trailers you've seen there. And
I'd like to change to your one, please.
yes, you just said you're happy with your 6 meter Edencraft.
No, I
But
said,
look at that. I'd love to cruise around in that.
yeah, that's an absolute weapon.
Imagine going to the boat ramp without towing it with your little Commodore.
Yeah,
Yeah, what kind of thing would you need to tow something like that?
One of those big American muscle ute things.
Yeah.
Like heavy.
Nice
you know,
to see we're getting a few of those cars here, like readily available. By the way,
Yeah,
It's great.
good. The Silverados and all that.
yeah, the Rams.
and with our tiny car spots that we have everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. No, well, you'd have to. You don't tow those boats around, Joey. You moor them.
Well, it says trailer boat,
Well,
you idiot.
as you can see, it is on a trailer,
Yeah.
capable of hauling more gear, more people, and more fish than any boat that we've ever built before.
A 47-foot boat, and you're calling it a trailer boat.
Does that look like it's on a trailer?
I would love to see you tow that through that windy hills on the way up to Eden and not kill everyone.
I'd go through Canberra, I reckon.
That's stretching the trailer boat
That is huge.
description.
Now,
But yeah,
you'd probably just moor that and then drive it around to different locations, I reckon. But you
Yeah,
did say dream trailer boat, and that was on a trailer, so I'm going with the Freeman.
quad outboard engines.
Yep. I'd get the quad V12 600s.
I feel like that would be overpowered.
Dave, we all like speed. Could you imagine what kind
Yeah,
of...
no, it would be great. But
Could you imagine the fuel tank I'd have to have in that?
yeah, Can you imagine paying for the fuel for it?
No, because I'd have as much money as possible.
Was that part of the?
You said money
question?
wasn't an option. I mean,
Yes.
yeah.
That's how I live my life. Money's not an option.
I'm very frugal.
You can't have it.
We-
No, that's a good choice.
Yeah. Are we going to call Brendan tonight?
Nah,
Nah,
Okay.
he won't answer.
wouldn't have thought so. He'd be asleep. He's probably operating in his sleep period right now.
In his altered dimension.
Yeah.
He's on nap number 3, guys.
So, was that the last question we had from that one?
Yeah, I think so.
From Dream, yep. So we've run through that one.
Yeah, what else you got for us on this week's podcast,
All right,
Davey?
so we've had another question come through from our good friend Jonah.
Oh, Jonah. Like,
Yeah.
did he leave a comment on YouTube?
No.
Then it doesn't qualify, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I won't
Nah,
continue to talk.
Tell us his question. I'd love to hear it.
Well, he's asked us about our favourite fish recipes.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a bit boring. So I'm not going to go with that one.
Oh,
Second question.
yeah.
People, he wants our opinion
Yeah.
on people who catch large sharks
Yeah.
for fishing competitions, weigh them with no intention of eating
Oh,
the
I
meat,
love these.
and
yeah.
then go out to sea and dump the fish.
Oh, no, you don't dump him.
No. So they're literally just weighing them for point scoring in their competitions.
We've all seen the tiger sharks and makos hanging off Burmese and Eden and all that.
Yeah.
It's really an interesting conversation. I was talking to a client last night. Not last night, last week. Let's just call him George.
Okay, George, yep.
Yes, I was talking to George, and he's a Romanian guy, and he's like, can I swear? No?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
He's like,
Bloody oath.
I fucking go to Bermagui. I spent 1 week there. I spent all this money, and we went for the kingies. And we catch no kingies. If on the last day I said, fuck it, we go out and we catch a tiger shark. And he was just so happy that out of all that money and all that resources,
Yeah.
he caught a tiger shark.
Yeah,
He
but
actually
did
got
he,
one.
Did he keep it?
I think he did, but he caught a big shark, and for him that was fun, and that was really self-fulfilling, and yeah, that made him
Yeah,
happy.
but don't get me wrong. I've got no problem with people sports fishing or catching sharks. And you know what? If they're going to eat that shark and enjoy it and genuinely enjoy the meat, then that's fine as long as it's sustainable. I've got no problem with that.
I actually enjoy eating little makos and stuff.
Yeah.
They're bloody delicious animals. I've never tried great whites or tigers. So
I've had a few great whites.
apparently they are really good. No joking. Apparently they taste amazing
Yeah,
from
How
an
do you-
unknown source.
yeah. Well, they're bloody fat.
Yeah.
If that has anything to do with it, well, yeah. So makos are pretty tasty. I
What
guess.
about a pupless gummy? Is it as good as that?
I've eaten them.
just
Milk the pups out before, as we spoke about last week.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
And eaten the mothership.
So what does he want to know? He wants to know, what do we think about the murderous of sharks? How we murder them for just game and then dump them?
Well, we don't do that, but I just
No.
feel like it's probably a bit of a hangover from the olden days, and I think he's just shocked that it's still happening and socially acceptable in Australia.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, because even the snapper competitions are moving on now. Like, I saw there's a snapper comp coming in December for Melbourne.
Yeah, I briefly saw something about
Yeah,
this.
and I saw that it's catch and release only, and the biggest fish wins. So I don't know if they've got some special brag mat that it's going to be on.
Yeah.
But that's amazing, because
That's
do you
good.
remember T-Tree?
Yeah, they had it. Well, Tea Tree had a catch and release part that nobody really entered.
Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know about that.
No,
Yeah.
I
There's
remember
always
that.
bring your
Definitely.
biggest, was it 2 fish in? Your biggest 2 fish?
Oh, I'm not sure.
No, I remember Winger, I think, was a big advocate for it, for, filming, catching and release. But it was at the point in time where technology wasn't, it was really expensive to have a camcorder and actually go and film something. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, so Brendan actually entered it. It was one of only a handful.
Yep.
And then he actually caught a 20-pound snapper on
Wasn't it
tea tree, and he was in the catch and release part of it, and he let it go.
Wasn't it like a 12 kilo fish, he said, or something?
He released it, so it could
In
be
Western
whatever he
Port.
wanted it to be.
True.
35 kilo.
Yeah.
No, I think he did weigh it in the net with scales.
I
and it
assume
was-
you have to like measure it on a brag mat, like to enter those competitions, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you'd think so.
But I reckon that's a really interesting thing, though. Like, imagine, like, now technology is so much more readily available. Probably a catch and release competition could be a really good idea now that, you know, looking at cheaper technology.
Yeah, 100%. The only slight issue with snapper is that if you're catching them in the deep water, it's, they suffer barotrauma quite badly. So are you just releasing them to their death if you do that?
Well, possibly because, well, I don't know. In WA, they've got a law where you got to have those sinkers on your boat. It's like kind of like a barbless hook with a sinker attached to it, and you got to pin it onto the snapper or jewie or whatever it is, and you just let him sink to the bottom. And apparently, that hook's supposed to just pull out. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, it's the way
Wow,
it's,
does that actually work?
well, they definitely go down to the bottom.
Yeah.
It's to say if they.
It-
No,
it-
the theory is that it's supposed to recompress their swim bladder.
Yeah.
Wait, so let me just get this straight. There's a barbless hook and like
It's got a weight on
and
it.
it's got a weight on it, and that'll. Where do you pin it on the snapper?
Well, because if you catch them from the deep, you're putting them back in their pressure zone.
Yeah, I
Which you've ripped
understand
them
that
out
bit.
of.
But like, so you got the sinker, and
Is it their mouth you put it in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just a barbless hook with the lead at the bottom. So like the hook part is facing up all the time.
Yeah.
So as long as it's got downward pressure, it stays in the fish's mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
And then as soon as it hits the bottom and it goes slack, it just pops out again.
yeah,
oh,
right.
very good.
So obviously there's been some science put into that, and they've decided that it is a helpful thing to do in order to keep the fish alive. Otherwise, it wouldn't be part of the regulations.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it's a bit of a wormhole, all this sort of stuff.
It's
But-
pretty
and-
interesting. On your shorts, highlights of this. I'd love to see like what one of them look like. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds like effort, and we won't be doing that. I've described it very eloquently for you, so you'll just have to. I'm going to draw it for you, all right?
Okay.
It's
Dave's actually drawing something.
I'm just-
Yeah,
it's
but
just-
basically, he's doing one
no, wait,
live
wait,
on camera.
It's too hard. I'll show the camera.
You know what? I've got my computer. I can just Google something. So
Lead.
Joey wants to see a lead hook.
A snapper
Release.
releasing lead.
Done it.
So Dave's done his version of it. Oh, there he is.
Oh, well, where's the there? No,
So that just looks like a sinker.
I've written lead on there, so you know it's lead.
Okay.
Where is
That's
that camera?
very interesting.
And then that's the hook part facing down, right, with no barb, and that's the line.
Yeah.
So, oh, sorry, Joe. Just took out your microphone. So
Yeah,
that's how that
so-
works. So that goes down to the bottom. Fish pops off.
Yeah.
Fish either swims around, recompresses and lives, or who knows, other fish eat it. And that's part of the. These are sort of the things that we need to consider as fishermen.
Well, it's funny because we all tag and release marlin, right? Most of the time, I believe they just pin drop to the sand and stingrays eat them.
I don't believe that.
How many get tagged a year? How many get recaptured?
Well, a fair number of them get recaptured. You don't want too many fish to get recaptured because that indicates a low biomass. Means they're all just getting
That's
recaptured.
Oh,
true.
wow.
That's true.
Interesting.
If you look at it that side of the coin, I guess.
But they're actually, I think that fish are quite hardy. There's been, excuse me,
Too many beers, Dave.
yeah, that beer. I believe there's been studies done on like tuna and stuff that shows they're really hardy. And although it looks like they just plummet downwards at times, they've shown that they do that, then they steady themselves and then they swim off.
Yeah.
And I know that some of those fish that were sat tagged in Tasmania a while back, the big bluefin, they wrote down in their notes that these fish had been attacked by seals and were bleeding.
Are these big ones or school fish?
These are big ones.
Yeah.
And had been bleeding or whatever, and they didn't expect them to live. And then those sat tags have shown up hundreds of kilometres away.
That's amazing. There you go.
So I'm not saying there's no mortality with things we're releasing, but I think that some fish are actually quite hardy and can survive even when it looks like they might be struggling a little bit.
Well, yeah, that's good. Well, next week we're actually going to have a guy who actually tags fish and has had recaptures to his name on next week's show, aren't we, Dave?
Well, potentially. Maybe next week or the week after. We're not sure. Depends on his busy schedule because he might be off filming for some other fishing show that's probably nowhere near as good as our one. But we're getting Jason Taylor on the show, who will come in and discuss his. I think he's pretty keen to talk about his kingfish tagging.
Yeah, because apparently another one got recaptured that he caught earlier this year or late last year. So
yeah, right. I know there's been a couple of kingfish recaptures that have crossed the Tasman recently.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
What, from New Zealand?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. I thought they had a different kind of gene pool going over there.
I know.
Their fish are like so much bigger.
Yeah, I know. How's that even work?
Yeah.
Kingfishing. So I love kingfishing. One of my favourite trips was actually going away with Brendan, and we did kingfishing at the Ranfurly Banks. That was sensational. So yeah.
In New Zealand.
How big were those fish? Ranfurly, that's legendary.
Yeah, but Ranfurly, we actually were with Nick Hamilton-Smith from Sydney, and he actually got an IGFA record.
IGAF.
Yeah, it might have been for the length of it. It wasn't for the weight, but it was for the length.
You're telling me there's 2 records per fish, length and weight?
No, they do the length one so you can release them.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. There you go. We're going back with the times again, where we're measuring fish, which is good.
Yeah,
I like it.
We've come full circle in our conversation.
Yeah.
I'll circle right back around to Jonah's question and say, well, that's a stupid question, Jonah. Of course, we're not going to advocate killing giant breeding sharks for no reason. Of course, we don't think it's okay. And don't ever do that again.
I think he's talking about it because we actually tried to catch a giant tiger shark in Queensland somewhere, and we failed at it.
Yeah, but
we really wanted to catch one.
Yeah, well, we were hungry.
Yeah.
No, we'd planned to release it.
Of course.
Yeah.
We had bolt cutters on the boat and everything. So, but
just to cut
we really
a small
sucked at
chunk
fishing.
out of to eat. Is that what they were for?
No.
Oh,
not at all.
What were the bolt cutters for then?
Obviously to cut the hook.
Oh,
Yeah.
thought they were for like taking a small sample of a fillet.
Like a cookie cutter shark.
Yeah, in fact, interesting thought.
Yeah.
What about eat and release? This is something we've discussed several times, right? Where you take like a sharpened ice cream scoop type thing out with you.
So you're talking about being a cookie cutter shark.
Yeah.
Basically.
And yeah, exactly. And we know they heal up from cookie cutter shark bites.
Dave.
So you catch like a big swordfish or something, right?
Now that's what I call sustainable living.
This just sounds terrible, like you're murdering, like not murdering, but maiming a fish and letting it swim off and maybe dying later. That
They
sounds
don't
like
die,
a terrible
though.
idea.
They live. We know they live. They all come up with cookie cutter bites out of them. So you take some scoops, like 3 quick scoops out of your swordfish, then send it on its way. Win-win. It regenerates more meat for the next time that you catch it.
I don't know about that.
Oh, wow,
I'm only
that sounds
joking, Adrian.
It sounds like something Brendan
I know
would
he's
say.
joking. You know, Brendan will catch a tuna, right, or a snapper, and he'll find like the most marvelous looking bit of meat. So he'll cut the shoulder off and go, that looks red, and he'll keep cutting little cubes, and he'll find the most juiciest looking cube, and that's what he'll eat.
Yeah.
Out of the whole fish.
Yeah, and then the rest goes into his freezer and
No,
sits
not
there for
his
6
freezer.
months.
Goes into his cat bowl. Cat number 7, I think.
Yeah. One of his 13 cats gets quite a good meal out of it. So
I've fed tuna to cats before. They don't necessarily. They don't all like it.
Okay.
My cat's an idiot. He doesn't eat any fish. It's really upsetting. I've tried to get him to eat it so many times and he just ignores it like a pig.
Yeah, basically.
He's a gangster, Archie. I love your cat.
I need a different cat.
Anyway,
I do love him so.
I think that's basically a wrap up. We've gone through our questions, or is there more, Dave?
Nah, that's about it, Adrian, I'm afraid. But
Yep.
I feel like we've covered a broad spectrum of things today and people have got their money's worth.
I think so. And thanks for coming on again, Joey, at short notice. It was good to have you again and get your 2 cents in on some subjects.
No worries,
It's
anytime.
great.
Come in anytime, Joe. We're thinking of making you the 3rd host, actually.
Yeah.
But you're not if this thing explodes and goes big, you're not financial. I'm afraid.
Okay, that's all right.
Yeah,
All right.
We've recorded that. That's evidence.